All right, we have gotten to the point where the President of the United States, in what is obviously a desperate and crazed sort of last ditch effort to try to make the case that he's not obviously violating the Emoluments Clause of the Constitution, is now calling the Emoluments Clause to the Constitution in and of itself phony. That's his word, not mine. Now, as you may know, Donald Trump has endlessly been clearly violating the Emoluments Clause. I will redefine what that clause is for you momentarily, just so we're all on the same page. The strategy from Trumpists has been first to deny that he's violating the Emoluments Clause. That has mostly failed since he's so obviously and brazenly continuing to violate the Emoluments Clause to the Constitution. Then they shifted to pretending that the Emoluments Clause to the Constitution is part of the Constitution, but not really. Like, it's sort of this appendage to the Constitution. It's an irrelevant vestige of sorts. It doesn't really matter. Of course, that's also not true. Either we value the Constitution or we don't. Either the value of the Constitution is complete or it is not, and you can't pick and choose when it is and is not worthy or deserved of being adhered to. And now Donald Trump is straight up saying, including to his supposedly constitutional conservative followers, that the Emoluments Clause is phony. Trump spoke to the media yesterday, including about trying to have the G7 at his personal club, Doral, a plan which has since been canceled, by the way, because it also would be an obvious violation of the Emoluments Clause to the Constitution. Trump was asked about it, and he said, "You people with this phony Emoluments Clause."
Other presidents, if you look, other presidents were wealthy, not huge wealth. George Washington was actually considered a very, very rich man at the time. But they ran their businesses. George Washington, they say, had two desks. He had a presidential desk and a business desk. I don't think you people with this phony Emoluments Clause, and by the way, I would say that it's cost me anywhere from $2 to $5 billion to be president. And that's okay, between what I lose and what I could have made.
You'll notice there Donald Trump also defending a president being president and running a business while being president of the United States, and in so doing casually equating himself to George Washington. It's interesting that there are so many other crazy things that he says in that 31-second clip that equating himself to George Washington is not even the primary thing that we are talking about. Like that's how outrageous the status quo is. It's time for a reality check. The Emoluments Clause is the Constitution. It's Article 1, Section 9, and it says, "No title of nobility shall be granted by the United States, and no person holding any office of profit and trust under them shall, without the consent of Congress, accept of any present, emolument, office, or title of any kind whatever from any king, prince, or foreign state." That's the Constitution of the United States, Article 1, Section 9. It's not the only relevant emoluments-related portion of the Constitution. We also have Article 2, Section 1, which says the president shall, at stated times, receive for his services a compensation which shall neither be increased nor diminished during the period for which he shall have been elected, and he shall not receive within that period any other emolument from the United States or any of them. So what do the constitutional conservatives say about this? Trump meant phony as a metaphor, maybe? I don't know. I haven't heard any defenses yet because I think increasingly the constitutional conservatives are pretending that they never really wanted Trump to be president anyway. And, oh, what, me vote for Trump? No, I don't remember what I did in November of 2016. If there's one thing that won't be able to be said once this nightmare is over, and hopefully that nightmare is over in 15 months, although it could be 4 years and 15 months, we will not be able to say that people simply had no idea what Donald Trump was doing, because he's telling us, he's saying that running a business while being president is fine. He's telling us that he sees inconvenient parts of the Constitution as phony. This is actually, once again, impeachable. What I mean by that is, violating the Emoluments Clause endlessly, that is impeachable, and that's been going on for 2.5 years, however long it's been at this point. The publicly calling of the Emoluments Clause phony is also in and of itself impeachable because Donald Trump swore an oath to uphold the Constitution. And he's publicly saying that there's a piece of the Constitution which he swore to uphold on a Bible, remember? He's saying, well, there's a part of that Constitution that not only am I not going to uphold, in my mind, it's phony. That is impeachable, publicly admitting to the dereliction of the oath that he swore to uphold. You can forget, if you want, about the first 2.5 years of the Donald Trump presidency. Merely based on the last 7 days alone, Donald Trump is impeachable. It's not clear there are going to be any consequences. And the next thing I want to talk about, listen, if we're going to talk about consequences, we have to talk about legally issued subpoenas by a co-equal branch of government as enshrined by the Constitution and the rule of law, which the Trump administration is ignoring, and that's where we need to go next.